All right, if you've been following my videos, you might have some thoughts in your mind about writing your story, but there's some important mistakes not to make. That's what I'll be sharing in this clip. Yes, very important to not make these mistakes as you think about a biography, autobiography, and so on and so forth, even a memoir. Do not make the mistake of saying, I'm not famous, or I haven't done enough, or who cares? Who's gonna wanna read about my story? I happen to believe that everyone's story matters. Everyone has something they could teach someone else. Even if you don't go out into the larger world, even if you look in your own family circle, there could be a life lesson. There could be some way you dealt with a challenge. There could be how you lived with a health situation. There could be some important decisions you made. So no matter what, you don't have to be famous. You don't have to have a fancy degree. You don't have to have a fancy job. Your story matters, okay? Your story could be a roadmap for someone else. And even if it's not somebody in the larger world, even if you're looking in your small circle, it could be a grandchild, it could be a nephew, it could be a niece who has something to learn from a decision you made at a particular time, who has something to understand better from how you went through a challenge. So do not underestimate that you have something to teach the world. Every story matters. Your story matters. Do not make that mistake. The other mistake not to make is to say, well, it sounds all great, but I don't have the time. Turns out nobody has the time. But one way or another, we all make out time for something that's important enough. And there are little ways of making out time. And I've shared it in another video. But basically, the best way to do this, to tackle a huge project, is to break it into pieces and to leverage the power of incremental change. Okay? That degree, that certificate, you didn't get it overnight, right? You got it over 3 or 4 or 5 years or something. And it wasn't some big thing you had to write and that was it. It was a series of tasks. It was some homework along the way. It was a couple of tests along the way. So everything worthwhile takes time, and you can break it up into little bits and pieces along the way, accomplishing so much every week, so much every month, and before you know it, 3 to 6 months in, and you have a draft. So the two things again, don't make the mistake of downplaying your achievement or downplaying the significance you have in someone else's life. Your life could be a roadmap for someone else. Your lessons learned could encourage somebody else to live through a challenge, to thrive despite an illness or a health situation, and so on and so forth. And don't make the mistake of saying you don't have time, because actually none of us has time for anything. It just so happens that we make out time for whatever we consider valuable. And in that very same way, this is a valuable project. There are many ways to make out time, little bits and pieces, cut out through your usual living your life. Make out even a few hours every week. Before you know it, a month is done and you've done this much, and so on and so forth, 3 to 6 months down the line, and you have a draft. All right? I hope that encourages you. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think? How do you tackle a big project? I'd love to know. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.